All right, Divine Ones, before we begin, let's take a moment. Lower your gaze or close your eyes if that feels right. And if you are in a area where you can actually lower your gaze or close your eyes, breathe in deeply and exhale, releasing all the noise, the pressure, the expectations around what selling should be. Selling isn't something we have to do to people. It's something we get to offer. It's an invitation, a co-creative dance, a gift. And yet I know how easy it is to feel the tightness in your chest when you think about selling, the fear of being too much, too pushy, too salesy. One of my clients came to me with this exact hesitation. She was creating her website, refining her offers, doing all the quote right things. And yet, when it came time to actually sell, she froze. I don't want to feel like I'm convincing people, she said. And oh, did I feel that. So today, I want to take you through the 5 ways I sovereignly sell. Ways that feel deeply aligned, ways that honor both your sacred work and your community's autonomy, ways that invite rather than push. Let's dive in. Welcome to Sacred Strategy, the business and energy podcast where bold strategies meet the magic of energy and intuition. I'm Sora Schilling, sacred space holder, business alchemist, and creator of the Devoted Archetypes, Sovereign Selling, and the Devoted Energy Coaching Model. For over a decade, I've guided thousands of coaches and space holders to build thriving, soul-aligned businesses that create impact and life-changing money. Let's cut through the noise of traditional strategies and uncover your unique medicine. Use the devoted archetypes to become a transformational space holder and learn to sovereignly sell with integrity. This podcast is your invitation to step into your magic and create a blissfully abundant business and life filled with curiosity, awe, and wonder. Let's dive in. Are you struggling to sell? These are 5 sovereign sales strategies that will change everything. So let's talk about the first kind of selling as we dive right into this experience. The first one is what I call co-creative selling, building long-term relationships. Now, this is for those of you who feel resistance when it comes to asking for the actual sale. You're thinking, what if they're not ready? What if I'm pressuring them? What if this makes them feel uncomfortable? But here's the truth. Selling doesn't have to be a one-time high-pressure moment. It can actually be a slow, delicious unfolding of a relationship that doesn't have to take an immediate action. My client originally thought she had to, quote, close the deal on the first interaction. But once we reframed it as long-term engagement, everything shifted. Instead of focusing on immediate conversions, she began focusing on nurturing relationships, creating a community where people could engage, explore, and say yes when they felt ready. I often find in this day and age, a lot of the marketing that is out there is around this constant pressure and expectation that you are successful when you close, quote, the deal quickly, when all of a sudden your business just does so well because every single day there's a person that says yes to all of your amazing, amazing offers. But what people don't speak about is that there is this idea of co-creative selling, that before that happens, before a coach, for example, has these everyday sales that occurs in their business, what they have done was building long-term relationships that continue to create those long-term conversions. So this is what it might look like for you. Inviting people into free workshops, onto your community spaces, listening to your podcast or your Substack articles that you write every week. There is a spiritual payment here of you showing up consistently, generously sharing your wisdom, and creating that communal sense of awareness. Also, showing up consistently without expectation to really let go of what it is that you want to happen, which are paid clients, to creating a genuine connection because you care. And also trusting that the right people will say yes when the time is right. All you can do is show up and share your value, share your wisdom. It is up to the people to recognize when the timing is right, when financially it feels true for them, when they see the value of working with you. That's not something that you can convince, nor should you. You should simply be you. Selling in this way is simply staying in conversation with your people. Okay, so the second of sovereign selling is the strategy of devotional selling. So embodying your offer. This is for you if selling seems like something you have to perform rather than something that naturally flows. So, for my client, this is what I told her. Your best sales strategy isn't a script, it's embodiment. Now, in the beginning, so for example, for my Lush Business Mastermind luminaries, we do go ahead and craft the most amazing experience that would be their exploratory call. And during this time, we do script it out so that they don't feel nervous and they are continuously releasing the expectation of a client immediately saying yes. But by exploring this strategy of devotional selling and showing up and creating value for people who might be interested in becoming a paid client means the practice ends up then being into a space of full embodiment. People don't buy because you convince them of anything. And often, when people are pushing and convincing someone, it doesn't work well because at the end of the day, at some point, the person who said yes, not from their own self agency, might start feeling really, really unsettled by the fact that they're in that container. People don't buy because you convince them. They buy because they feel your energy, your devotion, your truth, your deep knowing that the person that you are holding is someone that you truly believe in their transformation, that you believe in your clients and your potential client. So, my client was offering energy medicine, and yet she was writing sales pages in a way that felt disconnected from her own medicine. And so I asked her, are you living your work? Are you speaking from the energy of it? Or are you simply writing a sales page that you think will convert or that you think is going to land in someone's awareness and convince them to say yes? The moment she shifted, writing and selling from her lived experience, from her own body of work, and from her own vocabulary, people began to respond. So, for you, this is what it might look like sharing your journey as an offering rather than just pitching, sharing both your own personal stories of those micro moments, sharing what has been going on with your clients, sharing the actual healing journey and methodology that is part of the healing transformation that you provide folks. Also, letting your content reflect the magic of your work rather than explaining your work. So, rather than going on social media or in your newsletters and telling people how amazing you are and why they should say yes to you, let go of even pitching and instead share your content, share your stories, share what you did with your client last week, and let that purely be the reflection of the magic of your work. And then speaking about your offer as if it already holds value rather than trying to prove it. If I was to ask you, do you 100% back your work? Do you love your offer? Can you share with me how much you love your services and why? There should be an immediate, full bodied yes and celebratory experience of you sharing with me why you love it so much. If there is none of that, then this may not be the offer that you're supposed to put out there. So, for example, if anyone was to ask me about Lush Business Mastermind, I would tell people how much I love this offer so much, and how much I love every single luminary that's in the space, and how much I believe in every single person that is in the mastermind. I could also share from every single person what kind of incredible growth they've had on a personal and business level. If you ask me about Devoted Energy Coaching School, I can do the same. How much I love it, why I came through with this training, why I love hosting it every year, and the divine gems that are part of the experience. So for you, devotional selling is about trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your work, trust in your people, and the amazing transformation that they are going to have because not just because of you, but because of the co creation that happens with you and your client in that space of resonance. Remember, this is about you recognizing the value of your offer and that the offer is valuable, not just because you need to prove it based on you and how you work, but because of this amazing relationship building that happens with you and your clients inside of the space. Pausing here to let you in on something special. I've created this sovereign selling cheat sheet so you can easily revisit all of the takeaways from today's episode. So if you want it, it's super simple. Head over to my Instagram at Devoted Way and DM me the number 59. That's for this episode number 59, and I'll send it right to you. I've got you, Mystic Strategists. Selling with integrity, ease, and flow isn't just possible, it's powerful. These 5 shifts will help you honor both your sacred work and your client's sovereignty. So remember, DM me the number 59, 59. Let's make selling feel delicious. Okay. The third sovereign sales strategy is intuitive selling. This is where you're following the energy, not the script. So my client was also struggling with structure. She said, I feel like I should send 5 emails in 5 days when it comes to inviting folks into my new offer, but that also feels pushy. And maybe that's too much. And so I asked her, what would it feel like for one, you to trust your intuition? Number 2, what would it feel like for you to engage with emails however often as you desire from a place of being of service? That it isn't about being pushy, but instead that you trust that the people who are opening their inbox have self agency and they responsibly will choose which emails they choose to read and which ones they don't. And therefore, if they want to read every single email of yours, then they will. If they don't have time that week, they might come back to it, or they might intuitively, synchronistically pick one of the emails. But it's not about being pushy. It's about making sure that you are being generous and you are sharing because you love something so much. So here's the thing, selling doesn't have to be formulaic and dry, but structure is useful. When the most magnetic selling happens, it happens because you're following the flow of energy in the midst of structure. So you know exactly what it is that you're speaking about, what you're called to share, and have specific types of emails available, not only based on how much you like writing them, but based on you knowing your community members. Remember, you have different types of readers and different types of folks who buy. Some folks will need very logical, linear emails that express exactly what the experience pertains. Others need to feel an emotion. Others need to understand that you get them and that the way you're writing speaks to their soul. Whereas others will only trust you if you are vulnerable and you share bits and pieces about you, your life, your personal exploration and transformation. So, how might this look for you? Tuning in before each sales emails when you're writing them and asking yourself, does this feel true to send right now? Does it feel true and alignment to who I am and the embodiment of my voice? Then sharing offers when your energy is aligned rather than on a forced schedule. But more importantly, I invite you to consider batching, to write it all out, then put it all together, then schedule it out so that you, in from a conscious standpoint, release any expectations and you're not constantly focused on the sale. If you schedule it out, you're no longer in awareness, you're letting it go with blessings. And now you trust your community members to go ahead and open the emails. So that's the last part. Trust that not every email will be opened, but the right one will land exactly when needed by the community member. I don't know how often, oh my gosh, almost every other day, where I have an email that comes through from a community member that says, I needed this email today. Thank you so much. Now, that email might have landed in their inbox a month ago, or it might have landed just today. Sometimes they are looking through their spam folder and they find an email and they open it. Other times that day, they'll open up an email and they will say to me, this is exactly what I needed today. It was like you heard me and my heart. So trust that no, not every email will be opened, but trust that you sending your email is of deep service and the right one will land exactly when needed and it will be opened. Selling intuitively is selling in rhythm with your own flow. Okay, number 4 for your sovereign sales strategy. This is what I call community rooted selling, selling through support. Now, I know some of you feel like selling is lonely, like you're doing it all by yourself and you're putting it out into the ethers, and you have no idea if anyone is actually listening or if they even care. But selling can be deeply communal. My client thought selling meant convincing, that they were the same. Selling equals convincing. But when she started engaging in conversations, asking her community what they needed, sharing insights, inviting people into dialogue, it shifted. And so, therefore, remember that selling is simply you sharing how much you love your body of work. And that this is a way to engage in conversation and get curious about what your potential client might need. Where are they stuck? What is going on with them? What kind of help might they need so that you can communicate that better through the invitation of your offer, but also through your email and your Substack and your podcast and your YouTube and on Instagram and whatever other platforms you use to generously share. So this might look like hosting monthly Q&A calls where you answer questions and naturally share your offer in the most easeful way for free that your community members know happens once a month. You might create spaces like a community group where potential clients can interact with you before buying. Encouraging people to self identify as ready rather than trying to convince them. So, if you're clear about who it is that you're serving at this given moment, people begin to self identify and they will begin to know whether or not right now they're ready for you, or maybe they need to wait a little bit. Your community wants to feel included in the process. So let them be part of it. Let them be part of the free events, of engaging with you in a community, of self identifying and recognizing where they are, and also inviting them to reach out and ask questions to see if you can help them figure out where on the path they should be when it comes to working with you. So I have a free community called the Devoted Collective, and it's inside of a platform called Circle. And I love having community members here because it is a standalone platform. They can have an app where they enter in. And I very often, once a month, host collective events that are free. I also let them know when there are paid events that they can go to, for example, Devoted Circle training, or if there are other events that are happening throughout the week so that they know what my other clients are doing. So every Monday there is a post that goes out that tells them what I'm doing for the week. And so for example, this week I'm hosting 2 calls for my Devoted Energy Coaching School students. One is a class deep dive where they get to ask questions. And 2 days later is the practicum where they practice and exercise the muscle of energy coaching based on a tool. So everyone knows that I'm doing that this week. They also know that I'm hosting 2 different business labs for my luminaries inside of Lush Business Mastermind. The first is called a Business Spark Lab, where we go and dive deep into a principle that is actionable for their business. 2 days later, we're doing a magnetic messaging lab, which is every month, everyone comes together and we create 1 month's worth of content. Now, I want to make sure that everyone in the community knows, number one, what does my schedule look like? How am I serving all of my different clients? And what are the things that they might want to either participate or envision themselves entering into when they are identifying as being ready? Okay. All right. Last one for your sovereign sales strategy, which is what I call fierce selling. This is when you're claiming your work unapologetically. This is when we are talking about owning your offer fully. And so this is when you say, this is my work. It is powerful. I invite you. And every single day for the next certain period of time, I am going to share. So my client was terrified of this. She wanted to sell softly, always leaving a back door open where she doesn't have to go through. But at some point, I told her, you're not doing anyone a favor by hiding your work. Now, I'm not saying that you need to own your offer fully every single day for the next 365 days. But there are these moments where you're going to feel really called, either because you're just beta testing, or you're launching, or because you need a cash injection, or because you're super excited about how you're inviting people into your offer. This means that there should be one door that opens, that people need to know about your offer. They're waiting for your invitation, and you are being bold. Okay. So what does this look like? Sending those unapologetic sales emails that people blatantly know are sales emails, knowing that your work is worth it and that it is needed and required. And there's someone in your community that will want this now. Also, standing firm in your pricing and in your value, listening to your community members, knowing what it is that they can afford at the moment, but also recognizing what it is that you are offering, the worth of it, and finding a price that feels in alignment with you and the soul of your business. And lastly, letting go of guilt and simply claiming your power. Fear selling is about stepping into your full sovereignty, because when you believe in your work, others will too. Okay, so let's come back to where we started. Selling is not manipulation. It is not force. It is not convincing. It is an invitation, and it is a sacred offering. My client walked away from that mentorship call with new energy. She realized that selling is an act of love, that her people needed her to claim her work, to offer it with devotion, and to stand in her sovereignty. And so do yours. So, my question to you is, which of these 5 ways of sovereign selling resonates with you the most today? Based on that, I invite you to go ahead and explore that way of sovereignly selling and do it. Try it out. Let me know, and let's continue this conversation together. Until next time, keep trusting your magic. And remember that sovereign selling is an act of service. All right. If you loved this episode, here's your next step. Join me inside Sacred Business Circle. Seriously, this is the most magical, no BS business support you'll ever get at a very low cost. And right now, I'm calling in my first 1,000 founding members to lock in exclusive bonuses before they disappear. If you've ever wanted to be in my world and get real aligned business guidance, this is it. So go ahead and click the link in the show notes and I will see you inside. Remember, I hope that you recognize that Sacred Business Circle is something that you might need. It's not a business course that collects dust. This is where I give you bite-sized, powerful, and actionable business guidance that is given to you every single week. All right, I'll see you inside.